And yes, hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. And it's important this morning that you know that success is no accident. It is hard work, it is perseverance, it is learning, it is studying, it is sacrifice. And most of all, it's important that you love what you are doing. I welcome you to AMFM. I welcome you to a brand new day. I welcome you to the 29th day in the 12th month of the year 2023. I welcome you to From the Newspaper. And of course, it's that foremost newspaper review show where we get to check out the news headlines on the front pages of the major Nigerian newspaper. And also, we'll be checking out the news headlines that have found their ways to the front pages. Good morning to you, our dear listeners on MFM. Welcome to another edition of From the Newspaper on MFM. Oyedotun Oyekunle is my name. I will be your host for this morning's edition of From the Newspaper. And typically on the show, we check out the news that have crept to the front pages of the major Nigerian newspaper. Typically this morning we'll be checking out news on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Also we'll be checking out news on the front page of the Nation newspaper. And also this morning, the 29th day in the 12th month of the year 2023, we'll also be checking out the news headlines on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, and also today's edition of the Nigerian Tribune. And of course, typically, you know how we do it. Foremost, to check out the news headlines before we then check out the details and the latter parts of the show. But before we do that, let's check out the weather situation in the three major representative cities in our dear country, Nigeria. We check out what the weather feels like in Ibadan, the brown roof city. We also check out what the weather feels like in Lagos, the center of excellence. We also get to check out what the weather feels like in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, and Ibadan. This morning feels like 24 degrees, mostly sunny in Ibadan. Precipitation at 0%. Humidity at 47% and wind at 6 kilometers per hour. And of course, that's the overview of precipitation in Ibadan today. And yes, as of now in the city of Ibadan, today's amount of precipitation in terms of rain expected is 0.0 millimeter. As of now, up until any time later in the course of today, there is an absolutely no chance that it would rain in the city of Ibadan today. I'm talking about wind. Today's high estimated at 8 kilometers per hour light in the city of Ibadan. While humidity in Ibadan, today's average estimated at 54%. And let's start with weather in Ibadan. Checking out the weather situation in Lagos, the center of excellence. And Lagos this morning feels like 26 degrees. And of course, in Ikeja, the capital city of Lagos State, there is an excessive heat. It is absolutely sunny in Lagos, precipitation at 0%, humidity at 88%. Wind at 6 kilometers per hour in Lagos, and that's the weather situation as of now. And checking out today's amount of precipitation expected in Lagos, today's amount at 0.0 millimeter in the Lagos. As of now, up until 10 a.m., 12 noon, and anytime in the course of today, there is an absolutely no chance that it would rain in the city of Lagos today. Talking about wind, today's high is estimated at 13 kilometers per hour light, while humidity today's average in Lagos has been estimated at 73%. Yes, checking out what the weather feels like in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory and the seat of power. Abuja this morning feels like 24 degrees, mostly sunny, precipitation at 0%, humidity at 42%, wind at 8 kilometers per hour. That's the overview of weather situation as of now in Abuja. It is mostly sunny. And today's amount of precipitation expected in Abuja has been estimated at 0.0 millimeter. As of now, up until 10 a.m., 0% chance that it would rain. 11 a.m., 12 p.m. Up until any time later today, there is an absolutely no chance that Abuja would experience rain. Talking about wind, today's high estimated at 8 kilometers per hour light in Abuja, while humidity in Abuja this morning, today's average estimated at 43%. And that starts with the weather situation. We've been able to check out the weather situation in Ibadan, the brown roof city. We've also been able to check out the weather situation in Lagos, the center of excellence. We've also been able to check out what it feels like with weather in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. And yes, straight away, without wasting much of our time, let us move to checking out the news headlines on the front pages of the major Nigerian newspaper. And this morning we'll be starting with news on the front page of the Punch newspaper. And on the front page of the Punch newspaper, the lead news is on Plateau massacre. Invaders' rights community threaten fresh attacks. United Nations demands probe. Invaders' rights community threaten fresh attacks. United Nations demands probe. And the writer says, attack notice sent to communities. Soldiers got 37 distress calls during Saturday's attack. Coming from the Forum Chieftain, police treat intelligence reports on impending attacks. United Nations Human Rights Chief seeks end to killings and impunity. Police treat intelligence reports on impending attacks. United Nations Human Rights Chief seeks end to killings and impunity. And above the nameplates on page 7, 5 Akeredolu's men quit Oyedotun cabinet. Governor shops for deputy. And on page 31, federal government can generate 10 trillion naira from non-oil assets. A tax panel chairman says federal government can generate 10 trillion naira from non-oil assets. And on page 24, combat insecurity. Federal government tells 47 new generals. Combat insecurity. Federal government tells 47 new generals.
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
And yes, still checking out news on the front page of the Punch newspaper. And on page 7, Tinubu hails Oshoala, says Nigerian women resilience, shining globally. Tinubu hails Oshoala, says Nigerian women resilience and shining globally. And at the tail of the Punch newspaper, constabulary tarnishing police image needs separate uniform. Coming from Arasi, constabulary tarnishing police image needs separate uniform. And on pages 4 and 5, 37 jailed for internet fraud in Ogun and Oyo. 37 jailed for internet fraud in Ogun and Oyo. And on page 24, revive moribund farm settlement. Afe Babalola tells Tinubu. Revive moribund farm settlement. Afe Babalola tells Tinubu. And yes, move over to news on the front page of the Nation newspaper. And the lead news on the front page of the Nation newspaper says, Ondo State will immortalize Akeredolu, says Ayedatiwa. Ondo State will immortalize Akeredolu, says Ayedatiwa. It came with a couple of writers saying, Governor pays condolence visit to widow Betty. Governor pays condolence visit to widow Betty. Meet Tinubu. Jostling for deputy governor begins. Commissioner quits. Makinde declares 3-day mourning. And also, above the need news on JNI, Plateau mayhem planned to cause chaos. Plateau mayhem planned to cause chaos. And also, UNIIRC says seeks justice for victims. And right below the nameplates, ex-INEC chairman Atahiru Jega in 10-member Commonwealth team to Bangladesh. Ex-INEC chairman Jega in 10-member Commonwealth team to Bangladesh. And above the nameplates on page 5, 27 Rivers lawmaker win another battle in court. PDP insists seats vacant. 27 Rivers lawmakers win another battle in court. PDP insists seats vacant. And on page 26, Oyebanji, Oti, Diri, 3 others signed 2.25 trillion naira budget. Ekiti State Governor Oyebanji, Abia State Governor Alex Oti, Bayelsa State Governor Diri, 3 others signed 2.25 trillion naira budget. And on page 26, Labour Party fixes Senate form as 3.5 million naira, reps at 2 million naira. And on page 26, Afe Babalola is Africa's Food Security Man of the Year. Afe Babalola is Africa's Food Security Man of the Year. And right at the tail of the nation, Ogun Assembly passes 703 billion naira appropriation bill. Ogun Assembly passes 703 billion naira appropriation bill. Oil shipments to deep. And move over to news on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. And the lead news still coming from Plateau attack. And on page 5, horror without end. Plateau village gets fresh attack notice. Horror without end. Plateau village gets fresh attack notice. Impending attack fixed for today. Coming from the MBF. At communities got such letters in previous attack. Federal government saying we are working to scale up intelligence gathering. United Nations, Northern Reps caucus demand thorough investigation. Probe killings. Reps minority leader tells NAS. Tinubu must end plateau killings. Coming from the PFM president. And also Prophet El Buba Boko's group call for speedy action. And yes, still on the front page, above the nameplate. We're still taking the riders. Olawepo, Ashin, 6 rapid security reforms. And on the front page of the Vanguard is a picture of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC National Working Committee on a visit to the president. Above the nameplate on page 9, figure of out-of-school children worrisome, coming from President Tinubu. Figure of out-of-school children worrisome. You find that news on page 9 and on page 19. Dangote refinery gets third crude supply of 1 million barrels. Dangote refinery gets third crude supply of 1 million barrels. And on page 12, court extends interim order against INEC. PDP, over 26 defected reverse lawmakers. Court extends interim order against INEC. PDP, over 26 defected reverse lawmakers. And right at the top on page 19, consumers credit rises 32% to 3.05 trillion naira in 9 months. And right below the lead news coming from Ondo, fear grips political appointees as Oyedotun takes charge. Fear grips political appointees as Oyedotun takes charge. Coming from BUA, will maintain 3,500 naira cement price from January. Will maintain 3,500 naira cement price from January. And that starts about news on the front page of the Vanguard. And lastly, I move over to news on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. And the lead news on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune is on page 12. On plateau killings. Human lives seem to mean nothing anymore in Nigeria, coming from the JNI. Human lives seem to mean nothing anymore in Nigeria. And the first writer says, Shetima holds town hall meeting with plateau leaders, stakeholders. Reps minority caucus wants end to senseless killings. Reps minority caucus wants end to senseless killing. And on page 28, on agriculture, farmers generate 1.28 billion naira outcome of Kano State agro-pastoral development projects, SAA intervention. There is a picture right at the center of the Nigerian Tribune of newly sworn in governor of Ondo State, Lucky Oyedotun, on a condolence visit to the late widow of former governor, late Rotimi Akeredolu Betty. And on page 5, court extends interim order against INEC. PDP, over 25 defected reverse lawmakers. Court extends interim order against INEC. PDP, over 25 defected reverse lawmakers. And on page 2, Oyedotun leads Ondo ESCO members on condolence visit to Akeredolu's widow in Ibadan. Oyedotun leads Ondo ESCO members on condolence visit to Akeredolu's widow in Ibadan. Gives reasons Akeredolu cannot be forgotten. More tributes for ex-governor. And the Universal Basic Education says 20.3 million out of school children. 36 states FCT failed to access 68.7 billion naira grants in 18 years. Only Osun, Niger, Taraba, Sokoto, Enugu, Ondo lodged 10.06 billion naira counterpart fund in 2023. Falana seeks direct distribution, threatens litigation. And lastly, on the front page of The Guardian, and there is an editorial on the front page saying Man of the Year George Weah and the Majesty of Democracy. And writes below the editorial on page 6 on Plateau killings, US, France seek arrest of perpetrators as death toll hit 200. US, France seek arrest of perpetrators as death toll hits 200. And on page 7, fresh worries as 20 electricity plants face orders. Fresh worries as 20 electricity plants face orders. And on page 6, more resignations loom as Oyedotun takes charge in Ondo. And on page 7, courts extend interim order against INEC, PDP over defected Rivers lawmakers. And that starts about checking out the news headlines on the front page of the major Nigerian newspapers. We've been able to check out the news headlines on the front page of the Punch newspaper, the Nigerian Tribune, the Nation newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, and the Guardian newspaper daily this morning. Still from the newspaper, let's go pay a quick commercial. I'll be back after this commercial break to check out the details of the news on the front pages of the newspaper. Keep it locked. I'll be right back.
Cheers on all our social media platforms on Facebook at AIM-FM and TV.
On Twitter at AIM_FM.
On Instagram at AIM-FM_TV.
On YouTube, AIM-FM Radio and TV.
The Asia's Hotels and Conference Center is one and only event place with a clear difference and tasteful excellence here in the Asian city of Ibadan. For your next and upcoming event, whether marriage engagement, wedding reception, anniversaries, conferences, seminars, or birthday, the Asia's Hotels and Conference Center is affordable and fully equipped with all imaginable ultra-modern facilities for your total convenience without headache, security, power, environment, parking space, and royal service by their staff. All roads lead to the Aces Hotel and Conference Center today at kilometer 2.5 Ijokodo Akbete Akufo Road at Kere Ibadan. For booking and more information, call 080-8746-7420, 080-9744-1898, or 080-2869-0012. The Aces Hotels and Conference Center, where comfortability speaks than words.
Ìgbà tó tó gbá ní ṣe baálé ọba gbọ́migbọ́mi, kọ̀ǹkọ̀ tó tó kọ̀ǹkọ̀ ní ṣe ọba wọn lálẹ́ odò. Bó jẹ́ tìròyìn tó pójú owó, orin tó dùn ún gbọ́ létí, àṣà, ẹ̀fẹ̀ àtàwọn ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣítí lọ́lọ́kanjọ̀kan. Ìkànnì AIM-FM rédíò. Ọba ló jẹ́ láwùjọ rédíò.
Ìrẹ́rìn lónìí gbò, ìrẹ́fọ́n lọ́lọ́. sí o torí wọ́n jẹ́ ẹni tó ní bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run lọ́kàn gidi gan-an ni ẹ bá wọn dòwò pọ̀ kẹ́ ẹ lè jàǹfààní wọn ni èmi èjìrí ọ̀kí ló ń kéde léyìí sí gbogbo etí ọmọ aráyé pátápátá ẹ jẹ́ bá FM dòwò pọ̀ ká lè sórí ire nìtọ́rẹ́ ní tá a bá ń fẹ́ lélẹ́dùmarè máa fẹ́.
On Facebook at AIM FM and TV.
On Twitter at AIM_FM.
On Instagram at AIM FM_TV.
On YouTube, AIM FM Radio and TV.
You can reach us on all our social media platforms on Facebook at AIM FM and TV.
On Twitter at AIM_FM.
On Instagram at AIM FM_TV.
On YouTube, AIM FM Radio.
Yes, so welcome back from that short commercial break. It's still from the newspaper. On MFM, located here in the premises of the SS Hotel Akwete, Ibadan. And yes, it's about time we check out the details of the news on the front pages of the major Nigerian newspaper daily this morning. And yes, we start with news on the front page of the Punch newspaper. And yes, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, the lead news says 5 Akeredolu's men quit Oyedotun cabinet. Governor shops for deputy. Following the demise of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State, on Wednesday, no fewer than 5 of his aides have tendered their resignation. The Punch reports that Akeredolu's deputy Lucky Oyedotun was sworn in on Wednesday as the new governor of Ondo State, hours after Akeredolu's death was announced. The ex-governor, who had a protracted battle with prostate cancer, died in Germany where he had been receiving treatment. Following the emergence of Oyedotun as the new governor, some of Akeredolu's aides dropped their resignation letters. They include Akeredolu's chief press secretary, Richard Olatunde, and the ex-governor's special advisor on union matters and special duties, Mr. Dare Aragbaye. Others are Commissioner for Infrastructure, Lands and Housing, Mr. Aminu Raimi, the Special Assistant on Photography, Mr. Olawale Abolade, and the Senior Special Assistant on Special Duties and Strategy, Dr. Doyin Odebowale. The developments indicated that they were not ready to work with the new governor. Some of them cited their loyalty to Akeredolu as the reason for their resignation. In his letter of resignation, addressed to the office of the Secretary to the State Government, made available to the Punch correspondent on Thursday, the Infrastructure and Housing Commissioner said his resignation was dictated by his conscience. In his own letter, the Senior Special Assistant on Special Duties and Strategy, the Punch reports that there was a rancor in the cabinet before Akeredolu died. And while Akeredolu was abroad receiving treatment, Oyedotun functioned as acting governor, but some of the cabinet members did not cooperate with him. Amid a move by the State Assembly to impeach Oyedotun, he had openly tendered an apology to Akeredolu, pledging his loyalty. However, Akeredolu's senior special assistant on special duties and strategy, Odebowale, in a statement rebuffed Oyedotun's apology, insisting that the deputy governor must be impeached. Meanwhile, it was gathered on Wednesday that Oyedotun had begun to shop for a new deputy governor. A source in the governor's office said the governor might pick one of the cabinet members, adding that Oyedotun had been holding meetings with political stakeholders in and outside the state in search for a suitable and loyal deputy governor. According to the source, the governor is looking towards either the northern or central senatorial districts of the state. The source in the governor's office listed possible choices as the chief of staff to the former governor, Chief Olugbenga Ali, and the commissioner for energy and mineral resources, Mr. Razak Obe. However, when contacted, the chief press secretary to Oyedotun, Mr. Ebenezer Adeniyan, declined comments on the matter. Meanwhile, a group The Sunshine Advancement ambassadors on Thursday warned the governor against embarking on a witch hunt, but to focus on governance. The group gave the advice in a condolence message signed by its chairman, Olaniyi Ogunbuji. Checking out the news on the front page of the Punch. On Plateau massacre, invaders rights community threatening fresh attack. United Nations demands probe. Invaders are threatening fresh attacks on a community in Plateau State on Friday, barely 4 days after they killed 195 persons in 17 communities across the state. Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the Middle Belt Forum, Stanley Kavwam, in an interview with Arise Television on Thursday, said the terrorists had sent a letter of an imminent attack to the Pushit community in the Mangu local government area where he hailed from. When asked about the impending attack on the Pushit community, the police public relations officer in the state, Alabo Alfred, told the Punch that the command was aware of the threats. Also, some residents in Pushit who spoke to one of the Punch correspondents on Thursday said the villagers were aware of the threat letter by the terrorists. According to them, since the information of the impending attack spread, the residents no longer sleep at night. One of the villagers, Joshua Bukart, in an interview with the Punch, said, "Here in the village, we have been living in fear since the news spread that terrorists are planning to launch a fresh attack in our community. From the letter, the terrorists said we will be running in the streets with chicken and Christmas rice in our hands." A shocking revelation is coming as the United Nations demanded probe of the Christmas Eve attack in which 195 persons were killed in 17 villages in the Bakin, Ladi Mangu, and Bokos local government areas of the state. The Punch reported that the well-coordinated attacks also displaced over 10,000 persons, many of whom were presently taking refuge in churches, mosques, schools, and private residences. The chairman of Community Peace Observers in the Bokos local government area, Kefas Malai, on Tuesday said over 150 persons were killed by gunmen. Malai also said information indicated that the gunmen were still attacking some villages, adding that over 10,000 people were displaced by the attack. On Wednesday, there were reports that the death toll had increased to 195. The incident attracted strong condemnation by President Bola Tinubu, prominent groups, and individuals, including northern governors and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas.
Audio Jungle.
Checking out news on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Gunmen killed 2 Anambra cops and police hunt suspects. Gunmen killed 2 Anambra cops, police hunt suspects. The Anambra State Police Command has launched a manhunt for some yet to be identified assailants who were said to have come from a neighboring state to kill 2 police personnel. It was gathered that the incident happened at Uga roundabout in Aguata local government area of Anambra State late on Thursday. Anambra State Police spokesperson DSP Tochukwu Ikenga confirmed the incidents in the press statement on Friday. Ikenga said the hoodlums who disguised in military fatigue and seemed to be on a kidnap mission opened fire on some police officers who were in convoy. He added that the police-led mobile forward operating base, which had been on patrol of the area throughout the Christmas period, moved to the scene. According to him, the police recovered a Lexus SUV the gang operated with and defused an improvised explosive device found in the vehicle.
Audio Jungle.
Still checking out news on the front page of The Punch. And yes, still checking out the lead news on the front page of The Punch newspaper. Constabulary tarnishing police image needs separate uniform, coming from Arase. Constabulary tarnishing police image needs separate uniform. The chairman of the Police Service Commission, Solomon Arase, says the special police constabulary needs to either be outright overhauled, disbanded, or given a separate uniform different from that of the regular policemen. According to him, men of the special police constabulary engage in unethical practices, including extorting and hurting the image of the Nigerian police force. Arase took the position in a statement on Thursday by the PS spokesperson, Ikechukwu Ani. The PS said it was wrong for state to set up security outfits and not fund them. The commission has observed that this set of men have descended on innocent Nigerians for their daily upkeep through forceful extortion and intimidation. The chairman of the commission, Dr. Solomon Arase, retired Inspector General of Police, said the commission will work with the leadership of the Nigerian police force to sanitize the organization and operations of the outfits. Dr. Arase said there is an urgent need to differentiate the special constabulary from regular police officers and clearly define their operations, including uniforms and rules of engagement.
Audio Jungle.
Still checking out the news, and now on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Alarming figure of out of school children worrisome coming from President Tinubu. President Bola Tinubu has expressed concern over the alarming figure of out of school children in the country. Receiving members of the National Working Committee NWC of the All Progressive Congress APC in Lagos, the president, in a statement issued by his spokesman Ajuri Ngelale, said democracy must be progressive and inclusive with primary focus on pragmatically addressing poverty through the provision of job opportunities for youth and quality education for all Nigerians. Tinubu, who expressed support for the establishment of the National Institute of Progressive Studies by the party, noted that the institute is expected to conduct diligent research and educates all party members on the principles of democracy and good governance while providing a distinct identity for the party. He called on the leadership of the party to target more youth and women in its e-registration and digital membership validation exercise, scheduled to be completed in the first quarter of 2024. President Tinubu thanked members of the party for the overwhelming show of support to him during the campaign, the electoral victory, and with the affirmation of his presidency by the Supreme Court. National Chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, informed the President that plans are being put in place by the NWC to ensure the success of the party in the coming by-elections into national and state legislative houses in February 2024. Still from the newspaper, let's go pay a quick commercial. I'll be back after this commercial break. Keep it locked on AIM-FM.
You can reach us on all our social media platforms on Facebook at AIM-FM and TV.
On Twitter at AIM_FM.
On Instagram at AIM-FM_TV.
On YouTube, AIM-FM Radio and TV.
AIM-FM fún ìdálárayá, ètò àsìkò, ìkọ́nilẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ìgbà gbogbo. AIM-FM ní kẹ́ ẹ máa gbọ́, ẹ má gbé kúrò níbẹ̀ nígbà gbogbo. Ẹni tó bá rí jó tí ò yó, ẹni tó bá ráyọ̀ tí ò yọ̀, ọjọ́ tí ò pẹ́ ni ó sunra rẹ̀ láwọ̀ ara. AIM-FM ló ní kẹ́ ẹ rí jó kẹ́ ẹ jó, kẹ́ ẹ ráyọ̀ kẹ́ ẹ sì máa yọ̀. AIM-FM ni ẹ máa gbọ́, ni ẹ máa wò nígbà gbogbo.
Gbogbo bí kíbi lórí social media wà bá wọn pàdé. Mo má jẹ tán, má jẹ kí ni kò gbé ọ̀tún àbáyé o, tèmi ni ó ṣe o, ìdí mo sọ yìí kò ní ọgbọ́n, AIM-FM TV. Àbá àjẹjẹ àgbà ló kọ̀ mí o.
ọ̀rẹ́ mi gbà mí gbogbo àwọn ọ̀lẹ̀kùn ilé mi ló ti dókun kódà gbogbo àwọn táìsì tí ń bẹ nílé mi kò lówó lójúmọ́.
níbo ló ti rà á.
ṣé bí lọ́dọ̀ àwọn kan tí ń tàlẹ́ ìgboro ni.
O ti sanwó gbowó ṣé o ti gbọ́n pa ilé ìtajà Starlums Homes Wear Enterprise ó kúrò nígbàrọ̀ gùdù eléyìí tó dojúkọ ilé ìfowópamọ́ Kingston Bank agbègbè Àbáyọ̀mí Ìwòrò nílẹ̀ Ìbàdàn. Báwo lẹ ṣe fẹ́ sí àwọn ilẹ̀kùn ayẹta, àwọn táìsì tí ó gbohun iyì àti ẹwà bá ilé, àwọn àgbá omi lọ́lọ́kan òjọ̀kan, luvin ṣíìtì eléyìí tí ó gbé àwòrán ilé jáde àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Gbogbo rẹ̀ ló wà lójú kan náà lọ́dọ̀ Starlums Homes Wear Enterprise fún gbogbo kọ́lékọ́lé àti àgbàlékọ́. Gbogbo àwọn ohun èlò ilé eléyìí tí ó sọ ilé rẹ̀ di àwòdámi ẹnu ọ̀dọ̀ Starlums Homes Wear Enterprise ni ó yẹ àkàsí yìí. Ẹ pè sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 0708 760 5119 lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí 0708 760 5119. Starlums Homes Wear Enterprise fojúlówó àwọn èròjà ilé tó ní òun wò lójú.
You can reach us on all our social media platforms on Facebook at AIM-FM and TV.
On Twitter at AIM_FM.
On Instagram at AIM-FM_TV.
On YouTube, AIM-FM Radio and TV.
Yes, welcome back from that short commercial break. Still from the newspaper. Yes, checking out. Still the news headlines and on the front page of the Punch. Court extends order stopping by elections to replace 27 Rivers lawmakers. The Federal High Court in Abuja has extended the interim order stopping the Independent National Electoral Commission from conducting by elections to replace the 27 members the Rivers State House of Assembly, who defected from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress. The Punch reports that the Rivers PDP declared the seats of the 27 lawmakers vacant after they defected to the APC on December 11 amid the power play between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his estranged political godfather and former governor Nyesom Wike. The 27 lawmakers who are loyal to Wike filed the suit and prayed to the courts to restrain INEC, the PDP, and other respondents from taking any action against them following their defection to the APC. The other defendants in the suit are the Rivers State House of Assembly, the Clerk, Rivers State House of Assembly, Inspector General of Police, and the Department of State Services. Justice Donatus Okorowo had on December 15 restrained INEC from conducting fresh elections to fill the seats of the 27 lawmakers, pending the determination of their substantive seats. At the proceedings on Thursday, the court extended the order following an application by counsel for the embattled lawmaker Steve Adey. For PDP counsel, Adeyemi Ajibade opposed the application. However, the judge held that based on Order 26, Rule 10 of the Federal High Court, he had the discretionary power to grant the plea in the interest of justice. Justice Okorowo said he was persuaded by the reasons given by Adey and Njemanje that granting the order was in the interest of justice. He subsequently adjourned the matter to January 24, 2024 for hearing of others' applications on notice.
Audio Jungle.
Still on the front page of the Punch, revive moribund farm settlement. Afe Babalola tells Tinubu. The founder of Afe Babalola University at Ado-Ekiti, Are Afe Babalola San, has appealed to President Bola Tinubu to revive the moribund farm settlements in the country to revitalize the country's economy. Babalola lamented that governments at all levels were not doing enough in the agricultural sector, saying Nigeria, which used to be one of the leading exporters of cocoa and palm oil, had lost its place due to neglect of the agri sector. He said revamping the moribund farm settlements in different regions of the country would boost food security and agricultural production for local consumption and exports, and also provide raw materials for industries. The Abuad founder spoke in Ado-Ekiti on Thursday while disclosing this selection as the 2024 African Man of the Year in Food Security by the Initiative for Green Sustainability, in view of its premium on the promotion of agriculture and invoking students' interest in agriculture. He said the award, coming from a group committed to promoting interest in agriculture and emphasizing the importance of food security, is a call on me to do more in contributing to the development of the country, which of course includes agriculture. Babalola recalled our late sage Chief Obafemi Awolowo, as premier of the defunct Western region, promoted agriculture through farm settlement to boost the region's revenue base, which ensured the building of critical infrastructures and institutions that have continued to be the pride of the Southwest. He called on government to passionately consider the revival of the farm settlement to rediscover the country's dying agricultural potential, saying such will also create job opportunities for the unemployed youth in the country, as well as reduce the level of insecurity to the barest minimum. Babalola called for increased annual budgetary allocations to the agriculture sector, which he has said the potential to lead millions of Nigerians out of poverty and provide food security. He equally stressed that the government must, as a matter of urgency, implement sustainable policies and provide modern farm implements, improved seedlings, and soft loans to make agriculture more attractive to the youths who would develop interest in it. And lastly, still reading from the front page of the Punch, President Tinubu says our democracy must eliminate poverty, provide quality education. President Bola Tinubu on Thursday said his administration will practice a style of democracy that eliminates poverty while providing quality education for Nigerian children. However, he reasoned that this would take strong collaboration among the federal, state, and local governments. A special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajuri Ngelale, revealed this in a statement signed on Thursday titled President Tinubu, Nigeria's progressive movement must deliver on quality education for all Nigerian children and jobs for youth. Tinubu expressed support for the establishment of National Institute of Progressive Studies, said democracy must be progressive and inclusive, and focus on addressing poverty by providing job opportunities for youth and quality education for all Nigerian children. The president said the institute was expected to conduct diligent research and educate all party members on the principles of democracy and good governance while providing a distinct identity for the party. He called on the party's leadership to target more youth and women in its e-registration and digital membership validation exercise, scheduled to be completed in the first quarter of 2024. Tinubu thanked members of the party for their overwhelming show of support for him during the campaigns, the electoral victory, and the affirmation of his presidency by the Supreme Court. Tinubu expressed concern about the alarming figure of out-of-school children in the country, declaring that we must address this issue by establishing more schools, recruiting teachers, and providing at least 1 meal a day for the school children, aligning with the progressive ideology we aim to pursue. Many thanks for joining me this morning on From the Newspaper on AMFM, and this is the convenient point where I will draw the curtain on this morning's edition of From the Newspaper on AMFM. Many thanks for joining us. Oyedotun Oyekunle is my name. From the Newspaper returns back to your listening pleasure on Monday, where we'll be having the very first day in the first month of the year 2024. Until next week, when we come your way once again from the newspaper. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a best start to the weekend, and Happy New Year in advance. Bye for now.